Here's your friend again.
Oh, yeah.
Time to relax and forget each care.
Oh, please.
Just settle back in your easy chair.
So not true.
Here is entertainment for you.
No.
You'll find it so enjoyable to
Be afraid.
So listen to all from beginning to end, 'cause your friend
Bloody anarchists.
John Ford
is here again.
Well, here we go again. It's time for another John Ford podcast, The Evening Ranker. And look at this, I'm doing one on a Monday. On a Monday.
Great.
Never on a Monday, but today we're giving it to you on a Monday. I'd like to give it to you every day, but especially like to give it to you on a Monday, just as long as I can give it to you.
I'm a bad girl.
Usually I'm just too darn busy to get one of these things done on a Monday, but, today I found myself with a couple extra minutes and I thought I'd shoot off my big mouth on the Evening Ranker to give you my words of wisdom and vitriol and whatever else I can think of. I think it was a couple of weeks ago I heard that Ben Shapiro signed a new affiliate. Now, if you don't know who Ben Shapiro is, he's a younger guy. Hey, at this point, everybody's younger than I am. Who's also he's conservative. He's a conservative. But he's now got a radio show, and according to the Westwood One website, I'm a broadcaster. He now has, how many affiliates? He has 60 affiliates. And I think the way it works is they do like 1 hour of his podcast and then 2 hours of his show. I have not heard his radio show. I really should listen to it. But I emailed somebody who picked up the show last week in a big market, and I just sort of offhanded made the comment, and I said, you should go full intellectual dark web radio. And then after stewing on it for a while, I thought to myself, my God, that's a brilliant idea. Of course, his response was, the hard part is we've got to convince the listeners to his podcast to actually remember what the hell an AM radio is. That is a problem. Guys like Walt Sabo were telling you 20 years ago, that you needed to move your talk to FM. But did anybody listen? Nah, it eventually happened. Walt's idea was that it needed to be a different kind of talk, and instead all they did is they moved the same old cranky men complaining about politics from the AMs to the FMs, and sort of gave it a little bit more life, and the demographics just continue to age, to 65 to dead, which almost includes me at this point. God, how depressing is that?
Awful. Just awful.
But as I mentioned, I thought about that. Yeah, IDW Radio. Here's my free format idea of the day. Here's the thing. People are always complaining in the broadcasting business, which I am no longer a part of, except for this stupid little podcast I do, because nobody's going to hire me anyways. And I'm not moving from Austin, and nobody here in Austin would even, smell my way.
I'm the scumbag.
But they're always complaining that there's no new talent out there, and, there's nothing new and different to do. But there's always plenty new and different to do. Here is my tip for you. Here is the radio format of the year. You ready for this? It's already got a built-in audience. Millions of people watch these guys that are part of this thing known as the intellectual dark web. And you're not even going to have to lose your conservative base of your talk programming to do this, because most of these guys are conservative or traditional liberals, not leftists. They're more like traditional liberals. You got guys like of course, Ben Shapiro, who's sort of, more on the conservative side of things. You've got guys like, out of Canada, you've got Jordan Peterson. You got Sam Harris, who also is part of the intellectual dark web, but he's also an atheist. This is the interesting thing about a lot of these people, is that they're really bright. They already know how to talk. They probably already know how to argue with people, calling them on the phone, and they've already got a built-in audience. This is as obvious to me as it was when KGSR here in Austin decided to flip to, their ACL format, their Austin City Limits format. I mean, they already were a AAA station, but they'd been bubbling under for years, and I would occasionally listen to them, but they changed a little bit of this here, a little bit of that there, and then they went to this ACL, Austin City Limits Music Radio, which I would listen to if I like music, but I don't like music anymore. I like to hear people talk. I want to hear people bitch and complain. This is what makes me happy, right? Intellectual dark web radio. There's got to be. I mean, just go to intellectualdarkweb.website. Program directors, if you're listening, which I'm sure you're not, go look at all these people that you could possibly put on your radio shows. Westwood One, haven't you thought of this yet? Intellectual Dark Web Radio. It's not the same old, and I'm pontificating about great conservative values.
You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
It's not that stuff. They're not going to be apologists for Trump. You're even going to get people that are liberals, not necessarily the wacko left, listening to them. Look at Joe Rogan. I mean, he's a part of the intellectual dark web, but he doesn't even need you because he's got zillions of people watching his podcasts already. I personally can't watch too much of him because he gets his wrestlers and stuff on. I don't get that. I just don't get that.
My ass.
But could you imagine Jordan Peterson on the radio? Or Dave Rubin on the radio? Or Brett Weinstein on the radio?
Yuck.
Or Lindsay Shepard on the radio?
You gotta do better than that.
I mean, look at all these people you could pick from. Young, old, in between, black, white, blue, turquoise. So there it is. There's my free radio format. And it would fit in perfectly with your stupid conservative political talk. You don't even have to dump that. You don't even have to get rid of your conservatives. Man, IDW Radio. Steal it. Do it. I dare you. Now, I'm actually quite a big fan of Jordan Peterson. I've read a couple of his books. He gets a bad rap from a lot of people. He's one of those guys where people have a tendency to say things about him that aren't necessarily true, but it's, they're just pushing their beliefs outward. He's a Nazi. He's a white supremacist. He's this and that. He hates transsexuals. He hates gay people. And if you ever listen to him, you'll find that none of those things are true, but it's easy to put up a defense like that. This is part of what he talks about, that you can pretty much just shoot down anybody you want to just by saying, oh, well, we can't listen to them because they're X, Y, and Z, and nothing they say would matter anyways because they're anti this thing I believe in, so that makes all of everything they could possibly ever say have no value at all. If you have any questions about him, just, go to YouTube and watch one of his videos. That's what I would recommend. The guy's kind of interesting. On the subject of broadcasting, though, he the other day was talking about how his YouTube videos have just gone crazy. That he originally just put out a couple of videos that he recorded on his computer, and then before he knew it, he had like 1 million hits. 1 million hits on his YouTube video without really doing anything. Just putting it out there. Now, of course, there was some luck involved in that, and it went viral and all that. But he made an interesting point, and broadcasters, listen up. I want you to listen up to me. You hear me? Pay attention. He said that he thinks that podcasting is going to be more influential than even YouTube. And the reason he said this was, now you'll love this. With videos, you've got to give it all your attention. With podcasting, you can do something else while you're listening to the podcast. Does this sound like anything you've ever heard before? It's radio, man. It's audio. It's radio. You can drive your car, listen to the radio. You can even read a book and listen to the radio. You can't drive your car and watch YouTube. You can't read a book and watch YouTube. It's got this passive thing there. So he thinks that YouTube videos are going to be even less influential than podcasting. Podcasting is going to become the next big thing because he's come with this genius idea that because of the nature of audio entertainment, you can do it while doing something else. Well, this is what radio broadcast has been saying since the beginning of time. It's that kind of medium. It's interesting that he would say this, giving accolades to the fact that an audio-only medium, podcasting, is more advanced than a video medium, YouTube. It's like this light bulb went off inside of his head, and he was like, wow, this is amazing. But this is exactly what radio has delivered for decades. Seems to me if somebody approached him with the right amount of cash, I don't even think he's that interested in cash, with the right amount of persuasiveness, that he probably would be somebody willing to do a radio show. Maybe not daily, might not have the time for it. The guy travels all over the world giving lectures. But his whole thing is influencing people and getting people to think and becoming a positive force in their lives. All you'd have to do is convince him that the broadcast medium, radio, would be the best place for him to do it. Well, unfortunately, it's all the time we've got left for today on the John Ford Podcast, the Evening Ranker. Got other things to do, other places to be, other people to see, but I will talk to you very soon.
This program is for re-educational purposes only. Resemblance to real persons, living or dead, is probably intentional. Contents under pressure, use only as directed, some assembly required. Void where inhibited, batteries not included, use only as directed. If confusion persists, consult your physician. Driver does not carry cash. This disclaimer is subject to change without notice.